hands onto the mat, flat onto the mat, and knees just underneath your hips. And we're just going to start with a couple of cat-cows. So we'll take a breath in. We're going to open up through the chest, drop the belly button down, stretching out through the spine, and exhale. We're going to slowly articulate through the spine, arching the back up, pushing the ground away and looking through at your belly button. Inhale, we're slowly going to curl our spine the other way, so dropping the belly button down, lifting the tailbone up, lifting the chest forward and looking straight ahead. And then exhale as we slowly tuck the tail under, pushing the ground away, stretching the back up and looking through at the belly button. One more round. Inhale as we slowly lower down, just getting a little bit of movement through the back. And then exhale as we scoop in through the abdominals, tucking the tail under, pushing the ground away, and then looking through at your belly button. From here, we're just going to bring the big toes together, take the knees out nice and wide. We're just going to stretch the arms out in front, dropping the armpits down, taking some nice deep breaths, stretching the arms away and just pushing the palms into the mat. So we'll just take our hands over to the right-hand side. So we're going to get a nice stretch down the left-hand side of the body. Think about dropping your left sitting bone down, getting that nice stretch down the left-hand side of the body. And then we're going to take our hands over to the left-hand side. So stretching the arms over to the left, sitting your right sitting bone down, getting that nice stretch down the right-hand side of the body. Just bring those arms back through into center. We're going to slowly curl up and we're going to have a lay down from here. So just laying down onto your backs. We're just going to cross our right ankle on top of our left knee, taking your arms into an aeroplane position. And we're just slowly going to tip our knees over to the left-hand side of the room, keeping that right shoulder on the mat, getting a little bit of a stretch through the spine, through the chest. And then we're just slowly going to take those legs over to the right-hand side of the room. You can turn your head to look over in the opposite direction towards your left fingertips to get a little bit more of rotation through the spine. We'll just do that one more way in each direction. So legs over to the left-hand side, looking towards your right fingertips, keeping your shoulders connected to the mat. And then we'll just go one more time over to the right-hand side. Slowly coming back into center, untangling your legs. So this time we'll put your left ankle on top of your right knee. We're just slowly going to take your legs over to the right-hand side of the room, looking over to the left-hand side, your left fingertips. Slowly bringing those legs through center and then letting them tip over to the left-hand side, looking towards your right fingertips. So just getting a little bit of a warm up through the hips, through the spine, through the back. One more way, one more tip in each direction. And then we'll just go across through the middle, back over to the left-hand side for the last time. Coming back through to center, we're just going to just adjust myself. Bring our legs into a tabletop position from here. So we'll bring both legs up into the table. We're going to stretch our arms up overhead. So we're going to go into the 100 prep from here. So you can keep your chest down if you have any neck or shoulder issues. Otherwise, we'll take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, we're going to reach the arms over past the hips. Exhaling as we scoop and lift. And then inhale as we slowly come back down. So you can do arms only if you like here. Exhale as we scoop and lift, getting that nice C-shaped curve through the spine. Inhale as we come back down. So each time we come through, I want you to think about lengthening through the back of the spine, scooping in through the belly, reaching those arms as long as possible, and then inhaling as we come back down. Now you have got the option to add in some legs here. So as you reach the arms through, you have got the option to stretch your legs out. Inhale as we come back down. So the lower you go with your legs here, the more work you'll get into the abdominals. So just find that the height which feels most comfortable for you, where you can maintain that abdominal connection. Exhale as we scoop and stretch. And then inhale as we come back down. We've just got 2 more here. Exhale, scoop and stretch. And then inhale as we come back down. Last one. Exhale as we scoop and stretch. We're going to hold that position. 3, 2, and 1. And then just coming back down, just holding those knees into the chest just for a moment, just getting that breath back. From here, we're just going to stretch our legs out long. Arms are going to go overhead. We're going to come into the roll up. So we're going to inhale. We're going to lift up the arms, head, chest, and shoulders. And then we're going to exhale as we scoop in through the belly, pulling ourselves forward. So we want to think about taking the sitting bones back and digging deep through those abdominals to stretch over your feet. Inhale, we're going to restack the spine. And then exhale, so we get that C-shaped curve through the spine, slowly lowering down, connecting your lower back to the mat. Arms come back overhead. Inhale, lifting up the arms, head, shoulders, chest, up to tall. Exhale as we pull ourselves forward, getting that nice stretch up the back of the legs. Inhale as we restack the spine. And then exhale as we get that C-shaped curve through the spine, slowly curling down. Taking the arms back overhead. 1 more here. Inhale, lifting up the head, neck, chest, and shoulders. And then exhale as we pull ourselves forward, stretching over those legs, sending the sitting bones back. And then inhale as we restack up to tall. So we're just going to take our feet out long. So ankles will be flexed, feet towards the outer corners of your mat. Sitting up nice and tall, we're just going to take the arms out into an airplane position, palms facing up. We're going to inhale. We're going to do a double pulse to the left. Exhale as we come back to center. Inhale, double pulse to the right. Exhale, back to center. So growing tall with each rotation here. Keeping up that nice breathing rhythm. So inhale as we twist. Exhale as we unravel, coming back to center. Inhale. Exhale back to center. We've got 1 more in each direction. Coming back through to center. We're going to bring those arms in front. Legs come back together. We're just going to scoop it in through the belly. We're slowly, slowly, slowly going to curl back down. We're going to bring our left knee into the chest. We're just going to lift that right leg up, and we're going into the single leg stretch. So we're just going to swap sides. So scooping in through the middle, making sure there's no movement. The only thing that should be moving here is the legs. So thinking about using those abdominals to pull each leg in each time, alternating sides, keeping nice and active with that leg that's stretching out. We've got 3 more each side. Last 2. And last 1. From here, we're just going to take a little breather for a second. And we're going to come into the double leg stretch next. So we're just going to lift up the chest, keeping that nice C-shaped curve through the spine. We're going to inhale. We're going to stretch the arms and the legs out. Exhale as we scoop back in. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, scoop. So keeping nice and active with those legs, stretching those arms overhead. The lower you go with your legs, the more work you'll get into those abdominals. But just be mindful that you're keeping that abdominal connection. So we want to make sure that you're not going too low with the legs, that you get a big arch in your lower back. You want to keep that little neutral curve, just a tiny little gap. We've got 3 more here. Last 2. And last 1. And just lowering that chest down just for the moment. Taking those arms out into a T position, legs in table, and we're just going to do spine stretch supine. So we're going to inhale and gently let both legs tip over towards the left-hand side of the room. And then we're going to exhale as we scoop in through the middle, bringing those legs back through to center, and then inhale as we take those legs over to the right. Exhale as we scoop in and come back through to center. So as you do these ones, I want you to think about keeping your knees and ankles nice and tight, or your back ribs are connected to the mat. We're being mindful whether they're not overextending through that low back. So just getting that nice warming up through the middle, and those obliques warmed up and that stretch through the spine. We've got one more to the right-hand side. Then we're just going to lower those legs back down to the mat. Arms are going to come down beside us, and we're going to come in, getting ourselves ready for a bridge. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, we're going to scoop in through the belly, tuck the tail under, slowly curling up into a bridge. We're just going to hold ourselves at the top. We're going to transfer the weight into the right leg. We're just going to stretch that left leg up to the sky, and we're going to go for circles with our left leg. So they're not going to be big, they're just going to be small. We're going to keep those hip bones nice and level. Really focusing on making sure that the only thing that's moving is that left leg. We've got 3 more, and then we'll go the opposite direction. 2 and 1. So just reversing those circles. So I don't mind how small they are, as long as you're keeping that hip height, keeping nice and strong through the back body. So squeezing the glutes, squeezing the hamstrings, keeping that pelvis tilted towards you. We've got 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold that left leg up. We're slowly going to lower the hips down. Bring our hands behind your left shin or onto the calf. We're going to stretch out your right leg, and we're going to go into the hamstring pull. So from here, we're just going to swap legs. So scissor the legs, keeping the abdominals in nice and tight, and keeping a nice regular breathing rhythm. So swapping sides, nice and strong through the middle, making sure there's no rotation through those hips, keeping that nice C-shaped curve through the spine. We've got 3 more each side. Last 2, and last 1. Slowly lowering yourself down to the mat. We're just going to place both feet back onto the mat, setting up for our bridge again. So take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, we're going to scoop in through the belly, tucking the tail under, slowly curling our spine up into a bridge. We're going to hold at the top, transferring the weight into that left leg, stretching the right leg up to the sky, and we've got our single leg circles on our right leg. So just nice, small, controlled circles, keeping the hip bones nice and level, digging deep through those abdominals and nice and strong through the back body. We've got 3 more, 2 more, last 1, and then we're just going to go in the opposite direction. So with your foot that's on the mat, I want you to think about pressing through the whole foot, weight in the heel, through the ball of the foot, the little toe, and a little bit of weight into the big toe as well. We've got 3, 2, and 1. We're going to keep that right leg up, slowly lowering our hips down, placing the hands on the back of the right shin or on the back of the calf or the ankle. We're going to stretch out the left leg, and we're going into the hamstring pull again. So we're going to swap legs. So we're scissoring our legs, keeping the abdominals in nice and tight, making sure that there's no rotation through the body, and keeping that nice C-shaped curve through the spine. All right, we've got 3 more each side. 2 more each side. Last 1. We're just going to slowly lower ourselves down, and we're just going to give those knees a little hug in just for a moment. You can have a little rock from side to side there. All right. So we're going to bring our hands behind our head, and we're going to go into the double leg lift and lower. So you have got the option to do these with your chest up or down, but we're just going to stretch our legs up to the sky. If you're bringing your chest up, we're going to lift up from here. We're going to inhale as we lower both legs down towards the mat, and then exhale as we dig in through those abdominals, scooping in, bringing the legs back up. Now, if you like, you can do these just one leg at a time. Or otherwise, for the harder option, we're going to go for both legs. So inhales, we lower. Exhales, we scoop and lift. The legs are nice and straight. So keep squeezed through the back of the knees. Keep scooped in through the middle. Keeping that nice C-shaped curve through the spine. We've got 5 to go here. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Just bringing those knees in just for a little hug in. And we're just going to rock and roll ourselves up. And we're going to come into a prone position from here. So we're going to do a little bit of back extension. So we're just going to set up nice and long on the mat. So we want to think about having our hip bones connected to the mat. Our palms and forearms are just going to be on the outside of the mat or just beside your rib cage. And what we're going to do is we're just going to gently lift through the abdominals, connecting your hips to the mat. We're going to inhale as we slowly start lengthening through the spine, lifting up through the chest, lengthening through the front of the body, getting that stretch through the abdominals, and exhaling as we slowly come back down. So you can use a little bit of press using your arms, but also activating through those abdominals, activating through those middle back muscles, and then exhaling as we slowly come back down. So as you're doing this one, I want you to think about squeezing the backs of the legs, squeezing the bottom, helping to support through the lower back. So we're lifting up through the chest, and then exhaling as we slowly come back down. We've got one more here. So inhale as we lengthen through the spine, through the front of the body, and then exhale as we slowly come back down. All right, so from here, we're just going to place, hold on, bring our hands together, holding on just behind your lower back. So we might just start in this position, just with our elbows bent. We're nice and relaxed. We're going to come into some extension holds. So from here, we're going to inhale. We're going to stretch the arms long, lifting up the chest, activating through the back body. And then we're going to slowly come back down, just relaxing those back muscles just for a moment. And we're going to come back up again. So inhale, stretch the arms long, shoulder blades gliding down the back, activating through the back of the legs, and then slowly coming back down. We're going to do one more on each side. Inhale, stretching through the back body, lifting through the chest, and then slowly coming back down, just to rest for just a moment. Last one. Inhale as we stretch through the front of the body, activating through the backs of the legs, through the tummy, and then slowly coming back down. We're just going to push those back into child's pose just for a moment. Big toes together, knees out nice and wide, stretching the arms out in front. And then we're just going to come back forward, and we're just going to get set up just for some side work. So we're going to just set up along the back of your mat. So you want to have your heels, knees, hips, shoulders all in line. And from here, we're just going to start with just some side leg lifts. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stretch that right leg up and then slowly bring it back down. So keeping hips stacked, shoulders stacked, zipping up through the middle. So making sure that we're lifting through the waist, stretching that leg long. So you want to think height, but also length with this exercise here. So imagine like someone's pulling that leg away. All right, we've got 3 more here. 2 more. Last one. Then we're going to bring that leg up just above hip height, and we're going to go into circles. So we're going to just do circles. We'll go round, back and around, keeping the hips stacked. They're nice and quick, these ones. Keeping the hips in the one position. So the only thing that should be moving is that leg. We've got 3, 2, and 1, and we're just going to reverse that direction now. So circles in the other way. The side of that right hip should be starting to warm up now. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just give that leg a little bit of a rest for a second. We're going to finish this with the side kick in this position. So we're going to bring that leg up just to about hip height. We're going to take the leg forward for a pulse and then back for one. So forward for a double pulse, back for one. Keeping the hips stacked, keeping that leg the same height as your hip, and keeping scooped in through the middle. We've got 3 more here. 2 more. And last one. Just resting that leg down just for a moment. We're going to come into a little bit of hip extension work. So we're going to set up in a plank position. So setting up in our forearms for these ones, what we're going to do is we're going to do alternate leg lifts. So you have got the option to do these from a knee position, or you can do them with your knees stretched out. So we're going to see if we can go for 1 minute with these ones here. So we'll get set up, 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're just going to be alternating sides. So stretching the leg long, keeping nice and strong through the upper body. So pushing through your armpits, squeezing the backs of the legs. So squeezing the hamstrings, squeezing the bottom, keeping scooped in through the middle. I'm just going for our plank march here. So if you feel like you're fatiguing, you can go to your knee. Otherwise, we'll prop back up onto those with those knees stretched out, alternating sides. We're nearly there. We've got 10 seconds to go. So see if for the last 10 you can get back onto those stretched out knees. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And just lowering those, going into the child's pose, so just taking the knees out nice and wide, big toes together, dropping the armpits down. We're just slowly going to restack the spine, and then we're going to do those side exercises on the other side. So we're just going to set up on the back of your mat. So we're going to have hips stacked, shoulders stacked, heels, knees, hips and shoulders all in line. I like to just put my hand just in front of my hip or shoulder just for some stability. And we're going to start with our side leg lift. So we're just going to be stretching that left leg up and then slowly floating it back down. So just going to warm up the other side. If you feel like you need to place something under your hip just for a little bit of comfort, you can do that. So keeping zipped up through the middle, lifted through the waist, making sure that the leg isn't falling down. So you want to control it both ways. So floating up and then floating back down. We've got 3 more, 2 more, and last one. All right, we're going to go into our circles next. So we're going to take that foot just to hip height, and we're going to go for our circles. They're going to be nice and quick. So you should start to feel that left hip starting to warm up. Keeping the hips stacked, shoulders stacked, scooped in through the middle. We've got 5 more seconds here. All right, and then we're going to do circles in the opposite direction. So making sure that you keep your ankle flexed, keeping the hips stacked, zipped up through the middle, length through the lower back. All right, we've got 5 more seconds here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Just going to finish with our side kick on this side. So we're going to just lift that left leg up just to hip height. We're going to take the leg forward for a double pulse and then take the leg back behind. So forward for a double pulse and then kicking back behind. Keeping those hips stacked, keeping that leg hip height. So we want to make sure that that leg doesn't drop down. And that's when you're going to get that good work into that left bottom. So forward for 2, back for 1. Forward for 2, back for 1. Last 3 here. Woo, last 2. And last 1. And just letting that leg come back down, giving it a little rest just for a second. So from here, we're going to have a lay down onto your backs, and we're going to set up for a bridge. So this time we're going to, so we'll set up just with our feet flat, knees bent, and you want to have set up so that your longest finger can reach your heel. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come up, so we're going to lift up nice and quick into our bridge. We're going to hold for 3 seconds, and then we're going to slowly lower back down. And then we're going to come up nice and quick again. So up quick, squeezing the backs of the legs. So squeezing the hamstrings, squeezing the bottom. And then we're going to slowly come down for a count of 3. And again, so up quick, squeezing the hamstrings, squeezing the bottom. Slowly lower back down. And then we're going to come up again, nice and quick. So you should start to feel your bottom muscles warming up. And then slowly coming back down. All right, back up. Up for quick. Holding at the top for 3. Slowly back down. We've got 5 more. Up quick. Holding at the top. Slowly lowering back down. And 4. Squeezing the hamstrings, squeezing the bottom, pushing through those heels. And then slowly coming back down. 3 to go. Up quick. Holding at the top. Nice and slow as you lower the hips back down. 2 to go. Up quick. Squeeze those bottom muscles. Keep those hips up high. Down for 3. Nice and slow. Last one. Up quick. We're going to hold. Up for 10 this time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're just slowly going to lower those hips down. And just take those arms out into a T position. We'll just do a little rock from side to side there. Whew, my bottom is definitely starting to warm up now. All right. We're going to come back down onto our tummies again. We're just going to do a little bit more hip extension work. So we're just going to set up, you've got the option, you can place your hands underneath your hips if you like. That's going to help you get a little bit more work onto the glutes. Or if it feels more comfortable, you can place your hands underneath your forehead. But what we're going to be doing is our feet are just going to be hip width distance apart. We're going to keep the toes pointed. We're going to scoop in through the middle, and what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze the backs of the legs, squeeze the bottom. We're going to lift the legs. We're going to hold for 10 seconds, and then we're going to slowly lower back down. So we're going to go for, we've got 10 reps here, and we're going to focus on just really warming up through the back body there. So let's go in 3, 2, and 1. We're just going to lift those legs up, keep the toes pointed, squeezing the backs of the legs, squeezing the bottom, slowly floating the legs down, and we're going to come back up again. So squeezing the backs of the legs, stretching the legs away, and then slowly coming back down. And again, floating those legs up. So keeping those toes pointed, squeezing the bottom, keeping activated through the lower tummy, slowly down. And again. Right, we're going to do 6, not 10. 2, 1, and then slowly come back down. We're halfway. Keep it, trying to get those legs as high and long as you can, and then lower back down. 2 to go. Just keeping a nice regular breathing rhythm, keeping the neck nice and relaxed. Slowly lower back down. Last one. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering the legs down. We're going to stretch back into that child's pose just for a moment, just to stretch out through the back body. We're just slowly going to restuck the spine. And we're just going to come into a little bit of standing work now. So, coming up into a standing position. I think you guys can see me. I might adjust the camera just slightly. So if you've got a chair or something handy, it might be good to have nearby, just so you can use that just for a little bit of stability. But we're going to set up just in a, so we're going to be in a split stance position. So we're going to have, let's go, how about we have our left leg forward, our back leg is going to be stepped behind, but we're going to have our weight into the left leg, into the front leg. So from here, what we're going to do, so the back leg's just there for support. We're going to hinge at the hip, so bending the left knee, and then we're going to push through the left heel, coming back up to standing. So as you bend your front knee, we're bending at the hip, sending the hips back, push through that left heel, come back up to standing. So it's almost like we're setting up for the scooter on the reformer. We want to get that hip hinge, and that's going to help really warm up that left bottom. And we're just going to make sure that that left knee isn't sliding forward or knocking in or out. So we're making sure that it stays facing straight forward the whole time. So pressing through that left heel, coming back up. Back leg is just there for support. And you should start to feel a warming up into that left glute. Alrighty. We've got 3 more here. Bending, sending the hips back and then pressing back up. We've got 2 to go. Last one. All right, so that left glute should be starting to warm up. We're going to keep working into that left leg. What we're going to do is we're going to stand on the left leg, bringing the right knee into your chest. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to go into a bit of a dipping bird. So we're going to keep the left leg straight. We're going to stretch the right leg back, and then we're going to come back up into our standing position, bring the knee back in front. So we're going to continually working on that left glute, stretching back behind. So what we're looking for here is we want to make sure that your hip doesn't roll to the side. So you want to keep that hip facing straight forward the whole time. And then slowly coming back up. Stretching back behind. So you're looking to have a straight line from your head to your heel for the whole movement. So the body's, if you can only make it a little bit down and then come back up, that's totally fine as well. But if you can maintain your balance for the whole movement, you can keep going through there. All right, we've got 1 more. We're just going to hold that dipping bird position, and we're just going to finish with 10 mini knee bends. So they're nice and slow. 2, 3, keep that back leg stretched away. 4, both hips facing down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, all right. So that left glute should have been definitely feeling it by the end then. We're just going to do the other side now. So we're going to set up. We're going to have our right leg forward this time, back leg just behind, and we're going to go into our hip hinge on this side. So the left leg's just there for a bit of stability. We're going to send your hip back, bending that right knee, push through the right heel, and then come back up to standing. So we're just doing that little hip hinge. So sending the hip back, pushing through the right heel, coming back up to standing. So you want to get that hinge, so like you're doing a little bow to the queen. That's it. Bending at the hip and then coming back up. So the weight's in that right heel. It doesn't matter how small they are. So it doesn't matter if they're really tiny. I just want you to work within that range, which you can control your knee and your hip. So we want to make sure that that knee's not knocking in or knocking out. And we want to make sure that it's not sliding too far forward. So we want to make sure you're really sending those hips back to get the work into that right glute. All right, we've got 3 more on this side. Last 2. And last one. All right, just having a little shake for a second. We're going to come into our dipping birds next on the right-hand side. So we're going to keep the right leg nice and straight. We're going to bring the left knee into the chest, and then we're going to lower that left leg down. We're going to slowly stretch that left leg back behind, lengthening through the spine, and then we're going to slowly come back up to tall. So slowly dipping down, keeping that straight line from your head to your heel, and then slowly coming back up. So focusing on making sure that that left hip doesn't start rotating out, so keeping the hip facing, hips level, and then slowly come back up. So that right glute should be starting to warm up now. So if you find that you're really starting to lose your balance or you're starting to fold as you come forward, I want you to think, even if it'll be totally, so what I'm trying to say is just work within the range, which you can maintain that nice straight line from. So if you're coming into a fold, just work within that range, which you can keep that nice straight line. All right, we've got 3 more of these ones, and then we've got our mini knee bends. Last 2. Last 1. All right, so we're just going to finish with those knee bends on that right leg. So we're going to come down into our dip bird. We're going to hold that position, and we've got 10 mini knee bends with that right knee. 9, 8, keeping both hips level. 7, get that back leg stretched away. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ugh, all right, you can shake that leg out, and that right butt should definitely have been feeling it. Alrighty, we're going to come back down to our mat. We're going to set up into our 4-point position again, like where we started at the start of the class. What we're going to do here is we're going to stretch out our left leg to start with. So we're going to keep the longest position imaginable with the spine. And from here, we're just going to be lifting and lowering that left leg. So we've got straight leg, lift and lowers, keeping those hip bones nice and level. We want to focus on making sure as we do this one that we're not rotating through the spine or through the shoulders or through the hips. So keeping everything nice and long. All right, we've got 3 more here. We've got our last 2, last 1. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that left leg over the right foot, and we're going to do lift and lowers with a crossover. So we're lowering over the foot and then lifting back up. Keeping that spine nice and long, keeping nice and strong through the palms, keeping scooped in through the middle, and making sure that there's no rotation through those hips. We've got our last 2 here and last 1. All right. We're going to stretch that left leg out. From here, we're going to go from side to side. So we've got little stretches from side to side, sweeping the leg across. What you're looking for with this one is we want to try and keep that leg as high as possible. We're keeping those hips nice and level, keeping scooped in through the middle, and keeping that leg lengthened. So keep the knee squeezed. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we're just going to finish with 10 little pulses. So lifting that leg up, we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. I'm just pushing back just into the rest position just for a moment. All right, my butt is going to be so sore tomorrow. All right, just setting up into our 4-point position again. So wrists underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips, getting that length through the spine. We're going to stretch out our right leg this time, and we've got our straight leg lift and lowers. So slowly stretch the leg up, slowly floating back down. Keeping those hips stacked, making sure that you're not starting to over arch through the back or curl. We want to keep that as much length as possible. Think about like someone's pulling your foot away. So we're getting that length through the leg. All right, we've got 3 to go here. 2 and 1. We're going to take that leg over your left foot, and we've got our crossover lift and lowers. So slowly stretching up, floating back down. with that crossover across the leg. We want to keep those hips level, shoulders level, scooped in through the belly, trying to get that leg as high and as far away from you as you can. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to center. We're going to lift the leg up to hip height and we're going to go across the body. So we're doing our little side to sides. So keeping that everything nice and still. The only thing that should be moving is that leg, slowly stretching from side to side. Last 10 seconds here. Then we've got 10-second pulses and then we're done. Last 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're just going to finish. So lifting that leg back up to hip height. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, as high as you can. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Just pushing back into that child's pose position. Taking some nice deep breaths. And from here, we're just going to slowly restack the spine, and then we're done.